A very good evening, all of you. Welcome back to yet another session of Big Bull Ki Pathshala. We have a very special session aligned for you today. But before I go ahead and talk about the IPMAT Indore exam, which is the topic for our today's session, I would want to talk generally about a couple of exams that are currently going on and that have taken place. Right. So to begin with, I would want to talk about the CVT exam. So as we all know that the CVT exams started from 21st of May and they are still going on as we speak. So I would want to know from all of you, all you lovely people out there, tell me if you've already appeared for the CVT exam. Do tell us in the comment section, how are your exams going? Have you appeared for all the sections or the subjects that you had chosen? Are there still certain subjects left for you to appear? And if you've appeared for all of them, what was your experience? Were the questions easy, difficult? How was it? And I also have a very important update regarding the CVT exam for all of you. The CVT exams are extended till 17th of June. So earlier, the admit cards were released till 11th of June, but now, as per the latest notifications on CVT Samarth, the dates for the exam have been extended till 17th of June. So if you're somebody who has not as yet appeared for the exam, still waiting on the admit card, still a little confused, because we do get a lot of queries and calls from the students asking कि मैम मेरा admit card नहीं आ रहा, मैंने इतने ही पेपर दिए हैं, अभी मेरा ये पेपर बचा है. So for all you people out there, relax. It might be a scenario that your exam has been postponed till 17th of June. The reason behind this postpone is the humongous amount of people who have appeared or who have registered themselves for this particular exam. So as we all know, CVT is a gateway to 280 plus universities out there that includes central universities, state and deemed universities, and also a couple of private universities. Therefore, the amount of people who are the aspirants who applied for the exam was huge. So NTA is trying to facilitate and provide space to each one of you. That is why the exam has been extended till 17th of June. And as per the same notifications, the buffering dates are from 18th to 21st June. So there might be a scenario that your exam might be extended till 21st of June, right? So don't worry about it. And yes, again, please do let us know how is your, if you've already appeared for the exam, how is it going on? Now, talking about our today's topic, that is IPMAT Indore, one of the most looked upon and prepared exam by a majority of the undergraduate management aspirants out there. So IPMAT Indore, as we all know, is conducted by IIM Indore for admissions into Indore and Ranchi. And for this year, the exam is scheduled for 16th of June, which precisely leaves 1 week of preparation. That means next Friday, you will be sitting for your exam. It is an afternoon shift, so you'll be sitting with the exam or might have been done with the exam by this time. So we came up with this session with the only motive to give you people the last minute, very important tips that you should keep in mind, because we all know how prestigious IIM Indore is as a B school. And you might be very nervous, might be having jitters, might be because you also, it's a very difficult exam as well. It's one of the most difficult IP management exams out there, I'm sorry. So to help you out regarding the same, we invited a very special guest who has been with us on this platform a couple of times before as well. And she's an expert in what she does. Please help me, please allow me welcome Mrs. Tamoshi. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Vavisha ma'am. It's a warm pleasure again to get back.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. So I would want to begin, everybody I believe already know you, but still if there's somebody new out there, so just a brief introduction, ma'am.
I'm Tamoshi Sarkar, a verbal trainer for Hitbullseye. I'm serving the company for the last almost 6 years down the line now. And talking about my experience, I'm having an experience of 11 years. So it's a long journey that I've spent with all the IIM aspirants looking forward for the session.
Right. So, ma'am, like I mentioned earlier, the motive of this particular session is to help the people out there with the last minute tips and strategies about the IPMAT Indore exam. So, I would want to begin with knowing what are the common queries that you're getting from students nowadays. I mean, you're constantly in touch with them. They obviously come up to you regarding any problems that they have. So, could you please share with us the FAQs, if I put it like that, for this particular time in the exam?
So the most important question that have been looked for, like what are the key strategies, how to manage this last moment, anxiety factor, strong area, weak area. Some are facing problem in verbal, some are facing problem in higher maths. How to manage all this thing, and also stress management. That's also a big query right now.
Right. So we'll answer all those queries in this session and we'll take it up one by one. So, ma'am, if I talk from a holistic point of view, what according to you should be a student's outlook and mindset at this point in time when we are just a week away from the exam?
Every time, if I say like 5 days left for the exam also, that's a golden opportunities. 10 days left for an exam is also a golden opportunity. True. Over here, I will take the help of Pareto's principle. I don't know how many of you know about it. And Pareto principle tells us that many things, many outcomes roughly come from 80% of the consequences, comes from 20% of causes. So this, if I consider that you're 10 days away from the examination, so you have 20% left in your hand. So from this 20%, believe me, you can get 80%. That's how you should consider the time zone. Don't get afraid. Don't get scared that I started late or I'm not prepared yet. 10 days are left. How to manage? And I guess for a student, the magic is the last few minutes, last few days. You know, Sara magic. Everything happens in that time. Full of energy, bang on energy. So that energy should be high. With that note, I feel we should start our session.
And also I feel at times it does happen जो आप last moment पे पढ़ लो ना वही कभी-कभी exam में आ जाता है. Some people are like, I remember it happened with me in my 12th board. So there was this one particular question I studied at the last moment. I was from commerce. So I had this particular question from accounts and the exact copy question came in the exam. So it does happen with people at times. So the last moments are actually very prestigious, if I put it that way. Okay, so let me brief you people about the exam pattern. However, I feel you would already know about it, but there is somebody who's a fresher who's not really aware about it. So let me give you a little context. So the IPMAT Indore exam has precisely 3 sections. The first section is of quantitative ability, which is in subjective format. The second is quantitative ability, which is in the objective format again. And the third is verbal ability. So in totality, you technically will be studying 2 subjects, that is math and English, but math in subjective and objective, you'd also have higher math. So it's very, very important that you focus really, really well on the general math and the higher math, because both of them are going to be very important from the exam point of view. Also, the exam has negative marking, right? And there will be some stipulated amount of time that will be given to you, that will be provided to you to complete the exam. So now what I would want from you, ma'am, is let's discuss each of these sections individually and what according to you should be the last minute strategy for all the students. So let's begin with higher math because it is very, very important. So what are your tips for higher math?
See, there are 2 ways to look at higher maths. As I said, there are 2 set of people. Now 2 set of mindset working. I started late and I've started early. So those who have started late, what can be done? See, higher maths is something that cannot be managed at the last moment. But the time that you are left with, what you can do, you can revise, you can check out the basic, you can create your basic pillar, the fundamental pillars very strongly so that at least you can attend some. Because when we talk about higher maths from a subjective question point of view, it is always 50%, right? So 15 question you can expect from there, right? And from MCQ point of view, the percentage of higher maths is 16%, right? Now, what we can do, the one that is subjective one, there what you can do, there is no negative marking, right? So the risk can be taken over there. Because you have to strategize, right? Somehow you have to manage. So if there is no negative marking, the risk can be taken over there. But when we talk about MCQ, The risk factor is there. So you have to be very careful in deciding that what are the question, how many attempts I'm going for it, and what is the kind of accuracy level I'm going to fetch, right? Moving on to the next part. Now, for higher maths, you know that there are some topics which are time saving, like set theory you can talk about, right? So generally set theory, when we say, that is totally conceptual based, right? So if you are aware about the concept part, that can be managed, right? Then I move towards the next part. Like there are some questions where basically the majority answers comes in and ends in one, tentatively one. If you write that also, right? So there you can get good amount of marks. You can save your marks over there. So these are the few strategies that you have to do. And if you feel that, yes, higher maths is something that is creating a problem, then the time that are you left with, please focus on more exercises related with higher maths. The last minute revision, the last minute attempt of sectionals can actually help you in fetching good marks.
True. And since you are the verbal expert, so what would be your tips for the verbal section now? Also, because verbal, I feel a lot of students might face a problem in, because it's quite dense. And of course, because it's English, you need to practice. It is not something that you can memorize or something that you can learn. It has to be inbuilt, I feel, right? So what are your tips for the verbal section?
So see, verbal is something inbuilt, it is true, but it can be customized also. The amount of practice, dedication that you have shown for last few months, last few days will help you definitely in scoring, right? Now, if I talk about Indore paper from verbal point of view, here the strategy is different. What is that? RCs are there, but more than that, non-RC questions are prevalent in this area. So your focus should be on the non-RC question. Non-RC question means I talk about sentence correction, grammar. So rules has to be revised for that. If I move to critical reasoning fundamentals, whether I'm aware about the basic, whether I get confused when I'm dealing with a statement, whether it's a fact or a conclusion, those clarity is required. Those should be revised. If I move to vocab and idioms, another prevalent area, there what you need to do, you need to go through the questions, you need to go through the test, as much as small test possible for you. Just go for it. Small assignment test. Our dashboards are full with it, right? Pick it up. Don't think that this is for that, that is for that, or this is not my level, this is basic. Don't go into that judgmental mode, right? Randomly pick up the online test and go for it. That will be a big help for you if I talk from vocabulary point of view. Because vocab and GK is something where the right answer tinkles. है ना, आपको पता है तो this is the right answer, whatever happens वो दिमाग में बैठ जाता है. So once you're into that practice mode at this last moment, that can be a very helpful tip for you. And moving to the next section, RC, I believe students has rather taken it very seriously. They have practiced, right? We can expect 10 questions, 2 passages. So the strategy should be like, chalo, ek RC, ek passage, so I have to go for it. That should be the strategy.
Right. Very, very helpful, ma'am. I hope the students who are listening to us and who might have a paper aligned on 16th of June would take notes from it. Also, I would want to ask the audience, but if you have any questions, any doubt regarding IPMAT Indore, about the exam, about any problem that you might be facing right now, please feel free to put it in the comment section, and we'll be proactive in answering and helping you to our best potential. So feel free to put it in the comment section. Okay, now, of course, we know that we have negative marking for the MCQ questions, right? And except for the quantitative ability subjective part, rest of the questions are going to be in the MCQ format. So in general, ma'am, are there any, or is there any way in which you can make the MCQ questions easier? Or are there any tricks to solve MCQ questions in an easier manner? Is there anything?
Yes, obviously, elimination method can be the best. See, as I said you, Vagisha ma'am, there are some questions, like if I talk about from verbal point of view, right? And there are non-RC questions. See, non-RC question is something, if you know, you know, if you don't know, you cannot do anything.
Absolutely.
Right? And same thing I carried forward for higher maths also,
Mhm.
right? Now for the MCQ one, you can definitely go with the elimination method because this is the right time, which is the right strategy to use elimination. So that's why we keep on telling you, and once again I will repeat, if it is possible, check one or two analysis. Why?
Hmm.
Because we check analysis always with a point of view that we have to go for the incorrect one. But our point of view should be a holistic one. We should also go for the correct ones.
Mhm.
Because once you analyze the correct ones, maybe the strategy that you have used are not shared over there. So you can get a second help from there. So please revise those if possible and as much as possible. That will be a very helping.
Right. And I also feel that at times because students are very, I don't know, nervous or they want to finish it quickly because they're not really aware about how much time they have spent on a question, they tend not to read the questions very carefully. They tend to make mistake in it. They tend to, really quickly read the question, might not actually comprehend it or understand it. So another tip can be to read it, to take your time and read the questions carefully. At times it has happened कि
Yes.
बच्चे का concentration नहीं होता, वो एक ही question 2 बार 3 बार 4 बार पढ़ रहा है because he just wants to get over with it. So in the
Absolutely.
yeah, so I think that is also something that you can keep in mind, of course. And then there is another thing, especially it works for passages for reading comprehension. The MCQs that you have in that type of questions is keywords. For example, if there's a particular question that is asking for date of birth, for example, so we know that is going to be a number. So you don't really have to read the entire passage. Just look for numbers in the passage and you'll be able to understand. So these can be a few things. And of course, most importantly, I feel is the presence of mind. Use your smartness, use your presence of mind. It will make a lot of things easier for you. Right?
Absolutely. It's not only the reading the question, you pointed out very nicely, Vagisha ma'am, that many times we are habituated that maybe the question is except which of the following, but in that only some keyword has been put which has changed the whole direction. So that has to be taken care of. And second is, especially for the vocabulary part or any contextual vocab, we are overconfident. Right. Many students complain the same thing, man. Verbal में तो इतना overconfidence आ जा रहा है कि accuracy गड़बड़ हो जा रहा है. So this is another problem of verbal. We think it's easy, but it is deceptive. So it is very important even if you know some answer, even if you know about something, please cross-verify the same has been asked or same has been portrayed in your paper also. That cross-verification should be there.
Right.
Right. And there are some questions which you should not read twice, which I will add on when we will come back to the verbal part.
Right. Okay. So, ma'am, another thing which I think will be a very crucial aspect from the exam point of view, because I think majority of people tend to lose marks through negative marking, right? So, and of course, उसमें ऐसा भी नहीं हो सकता कि आप बहुत कम questions attempt करके हो because you might not be able to make the cutoff, right? So how can a student cope up with negative marking? I mean, of course, there is that thing of knowing the questions to attempt, but it's easier said than done. What, according to you, can be a practical tip for a student about negative marking?
So for this answer, the answer will be the marks that you have given so far. That's actually your deciding factor that has tracked your growth from the beginning till the end. So that has given you a clarity that these are my weaker zone, these are my stronger points. So for stronger points, definitely the risk is less, but for negative ones, the risk is more. So it's your deciding factor that whether I'm going to attempt for it, because negative marking will be there. Accuracy has to be maintained. So go for more accuracy factor, right? Keeping in mind that negative marking is there. Second important thing is like subjective questions of maths. There is no negative marking, but one point you have to keep in mind, there is time limitation also. So it should not be like negative marking nahi hai, let me spend time with that. ऐसा ना हो कि आपका time management गड़बड़ हो जाए. So there are 3 parameters which need to be balanced: accuracy, time management, and negative marking.
Right. So talking about time management now, that is going to be my next question. So time management, again, as I mentioned earlier also, that for all the competitive exams, not only just IPMAT Indore, even for the CAT exam, we have sectional timings also. At least we don't have sectional timings in this, right? So timings can be something which can be tricky for students. Because let's take up a case that this one particular student who did appear for mocks, but he was doing or attempting the mocks at his pace, taking 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours for attempting the mocks. But then same experience will not be there in the exam, no, because it's very different. That the scenario is different, the surroundings are different, and then of course the clock is ticking. So, what should be the tip, or how can a person manage time? Should he like put a timer कि ठीक है मैं 40 minutes हर section पे दूंगा और उससे ज्यादा मैं नहीं करूंगा, मैं 40 minutes में particular section नहीं हुआ तो automatically shift to the next one, या should it be कि subjective में कम time दो, objective में ज्यादा दो? What according to you is the right key to it?
It is a person's strategy totally, Vagisha ma'am. We cannot customize it, है ना? Let them customize it. अगर किसी को लगता है that मेरा subjective वाला में I will be scoring more negative marking, I will be having problem. So let me do it कि जितना मेरा हो सकता है, because 40 minutes is the set time. उसके बाहर आप कर भी नहीं सकते हो, है ना? हर section के लिए. तो जितना आपका manage हो सकता है उतना कीजिए. And again that answer will come forward. जो weaker है उसमें आप maybe 40 minutes में आप शायद 12 question कर पाओ. अगर आप अच्छे हो किसी एरिया में 40 minutes में maybe you can go for 30 questions as an attempt. So it depends on the person, that how the person is taking care of the time management. But the last few days there is still time जहाँ पे आप 1-2-3 mocks दे सकते हो. अगर अभी तक you have not taken care of time and you have said okay let me give me ample time जब तक हो जाए, so अब वो approach change करना है. Now it is the time to set timer and to see within 40 minutes how many questions you're able to do, and that too with accuracy.
True, very rightly said. But I have just had this thought generally. Do you think when there is just 1 week left for the exam, should a student engage in a new topic? Should he do that last minute ki theek hai ye bhi dekh hi leta, or should he just revise what is already done and focus on just his strength? What is your take on it?
No, there will be only revision, right? No new topics, because that can create a hodgepodge in your mind, right? Sectional will be not helpful right now also, but if you feel that kuch sectional karne se I can do well, you can do. Right now the focus should be on full lengths. And when you are left with 3 days, stop giving mocks. It is the right time to revise the mistakes that you have done. It can be in books, it can be in online, it can be in offline. Revision for your incorrect answers or inaccuracy part is must when you're left with 2-3 days.
Okay, very rightly said. Okay, ma'am. Now, let's talk about, again, because you were talking about mocks, and time and again in my session, I keep on pointing out the relevance of mocks, the importance of mocks, and not only just mocks, but previous year question papers also. And, just seeing the analysis of the exams, I'd want to talk about the same. How important or essential are mocks to one's preparation? And secondly, how earlier then exam should a person start taking mocks, according to you?
So analyzing your score is very, very important, because that will give you the clarity that कहाँ पे अपना best देना है, कहाँ पे खुद को रोकना है. Because competitive examination is not about attempting, it's about stopping yourself also. कि नहीं करना है, रोकना है खुद को, है ना? लगता है कि सारा कर लेंगे. ये जो thought process है, ये बहुत important है. And that can be developed when you go for mocks first. Second, mocks will make you understand where you are lagging, right? Third, mocks will give you that why a holistic approach कि मेरा answer क्यों गलत हुआ, why the rest options are incorrect. So that same type of question, if you come across, you can understand, okay, ये तो eliminate पहले ही हो जाएगा because this was said over there. And last and not the least, time management factor, estimated time कितना था, आपने कितना लिया. Next, level of difficulty of a question. ये भी mention रहता है analysis में, that maybe this was from high LOD. आपको लगा ये easy है, आपको लगा ये moderate है, या आपको लगा ये difficult है, but actually it is easy. So all this picture, level of difficulty of question, time management, inaccurate options, elimination options, any strategy जो मैंने पहले भी बोला है, शायद आप नहीं use कर रहे हो. In the correct answer, it has been shown, right? So you can take help from that. So everything can give you, all this can give you actually a clear idea that how to handle your actual paper. And coming to the actual paper, Vagisha ma'am, actual paper is a must. जब तक आप actual paper नहीं देखेंगे 2-3 साल, 4-5 साल का, you will not understand the pattern, the flow, the different types of topics that you can expect. क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है IPMAT के में कि यही आया तो पिछले साल यही आएगा या अगले साल यही आएगा. There are some changes that you can expect. Or maybe, suppose for example, I will tell you, सोचिए verbal का question है, किसी ने fill in the blanks नहीं किया, which is sentence completion, right? Last year sentence completion भर के आया था, तो उसके लिए ये problem हो गया. Suppose अब वो person sentence completion कर लिया, एक ऐसा topic है, let's take analogy जो आया नहीं, तो वो किया नहीं, but उसमें वो बच्चा अच्छा है, so maybe this year it can come. So never take this risk. ये हम पहले ही बोलते हैं that your first strategy होना चाहिए कि syllabus completion, पहले पूरा syllabus को जानिए as much as possible. And that can be done when you are taking care of the pattern. That's very, very important.
True, absolutely. And ma'am, I also feel, and I would want to add it, I know it's not relevant as of now because we just have 1 week left for the exam, but I would want to state it for the people who might be preparing for IPMAT 24, that they should start taking mocks earlier in their preparation, not just a week or a month prior to the exam. You must start taking the mocks the day that you start preparing. It can be sectional mocks, it can be topic-wise mocks, if not full length. And then with that, you'll get an idea, and it won't be an alien feeling when you're actually sitting for the exam on the D-Day. I think that's very, very important. So all you people out there who apparently could be an aspirant of IPMAT 24, please make sure that you're appearing mocks. Start taking mocks right away, okay? And analyze them. Analysis of the mock is very, very important. Like ma'am earlier mentioned, that the strategy varies from student to student. No mentor in this world can tell you how you should attend an exam because it comes from you. So for example, somebody like me, I know that I'm good in English and I might not be that good in math. So I will start solving math first because I know English is something that I can do later also because it is something that falls in my areas of strength. But then for somebody else, they might want to do the easier part first and then leave the rest of the time for the difficult portions. So it varies from person to person. And mock analysis help you do that. It's very, very important that you analyze your mocks. Ma'am, Ari, do you have any tips for analysis of the mocks? How can one analyze the mock? Any tip for that?
So analysis of the mocks has to be done with full attention, full focus. It should not be like मैंने paper अभी खत्म कर दिया, अभी analysis लेके बैठ जाओ. It's not possible. 2 घंटे के बाद already your energy is drained. तो जब आप focus कर पाओ, थोड़ा सा break लेके then start with that. Analysis will give you the picture, LODs of question, level of difficulties, जो आपने सोचा था क्या वो सही है. Second, estimated time, how much time you have given and what is the estimated time generally. And again, that the pointer will come back. You will get new strategies, how the things are solved. Elimination technique. If somebody is looking for it, that I'm not good with that, or how to do it fast. Everything you will be learning from there. From analysis, you will learn that what are the things that are doable, what you should start with. Maybe that you should spend, as I said, in verbal, you have to spend more time for the non-RC questions. Because non-RC question में ज़्यादा time नहीं लगता है. आपको पता है तो पता है, नहीं पता है तो नहीं पता है. So कुछ लोग strategy ऐसे बना लेते हैं कि let me start with the non-RC, then I will come to the RC, जहाँ पे we are expecting 2 passages of 5 questions each, and then after that maybe I will be moving to parajumble. So over here I will add on. In verbal there is one killing area, that is parajumble, because options are not there, right? And there is no negative marking also. अगर आपको लगता है that you are really not good with it, no problem, 2 से ज्यादा मत कीजिए. ऐसे मत सोचिए कि नेगेटिव मार्किंग तो है नहीं, चलो कर देते, अक्कर बक्कर बम्बे वो हो गया तो हो गया, नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ, ऐसे करके अपने टाइम वेस्ट कर दिया, ऐसे कोई फायदा नहीं है, right? So the strategy should be best will be start with the non-RC, then move to the RC, and at last try some parajumble question. अगर 4 है 5 है, 2 कर लीजिए, more than enough. If you're good with it, go for 3, है ना? बट ऐसा होना चाहिए कि टाइम आप बाकियों में ज्यादा दे रहे हो, and then you're coming back to it.
Right. Ma'am, you've been catering students from so many years now. You've helped thousands of students with their preparation in the past so many years. So according to you, what are the most reoccurring topics in the verbal section? Because that's your field of expertise. So according to you, what are the topics that appear almost every year, or which according to you are important from the exam point of view?
First of all, there is no choices given. काश ऐसे choices दिया जाता है. All the topics are important, but most important definitely will be RC, parajumble, sentence correction and grammar, fill in the blanks, right?
Mhm.
Some question of para completion, CR-based question you can expect over here. These are the most important topics.
Okay, all right. So I hope you are taking notes there, students. And I hope you're focused more on these topics that ma'am have mentioned. If not, take a little note, attempt a few questions. You still have a week to go. Start working towards them. Okay, ma'am, now I'd want to shift to PIs because as we know that the IPMAT Indore exam is followed by a PI round. So you need to qualify for the PI round, only then your selection would be final. So before I move to PI round, I would want to know, according to you, at this point in time, what study material can students refer to as per your expertise?
For PI or for the other areas?
So for the aptitude exam.
I think the things that are being provided from our side is more than enough, right? भंडार है उसको ही पहले खत्म कर लो भाई. PDFs है, e-books है, assignments are there, tests are there, videos are there. For if you want to enhance your GK also to some extent, right? Or if you're struggling, कहाँ से पढूं, we are providing magazine also. इतना खत्म कर लो, यही बहुत है, right? कहीं और जाने का जरूरत ही नहीं है. We have brought everything in a small box. That is our dashboard, which is going to be your best friend. Actually, it's your best friend because it gives you the clarity. The day you start and the day you end. यहाँ तक पूरा आपका जो track है progress का, वो पूरा वहाँ पे रह जाता है. अगर आप उसको अच्छी तरह से एनालिसिस करोगे, अच्छा इस मॉक्स में मुझे इतना मिला, इसमें मैंने इतना टाइम दिया, नेक्स्ट मॉक में मैंने कितना टाइम दिया. इट इज एवरीथिंग. इट्स अ निंजा, इट्स अ मैजिक बॉक्स, द डैशबोर्ड. और कुछ तो मेरे सामने आ ही नहीं रहा है, मनीषा मैम, other than Hitbullseye.
Yeah, ma'am, but then when we were talking, even just before the session, we were discussing about a book that you've recently come across and that you said you'd suggest to the students.
Right, that's for the reading purpose. अगर कोई avid reader हो, last moment में आप read करना चाहते हो, कुछ books हैं that you can definitely follow. सबसे पहले होगा Learn Startup by Eric Rice. So when you read this kind of book, it will help you for the methodology part, because you have to be methodological. If I talk about PI, if I talk about written, and for your upcoming days also. Next will be definitely Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. So this is our book on decision making, because आप लोग ढूंढते रहते हो ना क्या पढूं, that will help our skill set to grow. So these are the couple of books that you can follow before the exam or maybe after the exam for your PI. How to read a book, very good book by Alder and Doran. So इस book से आपको पता चल जाएगा how to comprehend the information, how to be an active reader, what curiosity should be there in your mind. And one, the last on the list is Elements of Style, which is about grammar, how the writing part should be. These 4 books are really beneficial, and if you follow them, they will help you in the 4 areas: methodological, I repeat, decision making, comprehending the information, and as well as for your writing part.
Right. So I hope you people have written it. If you want to, you can go through these books. So generally also, I think they are very good books for your English. Generally also, apart from exam, I'm pretty sure. So I think that is something that you can refer to. Tamoshi ma'am has a bunch of so many preferences and references she has with the books. She always, every time we have a session, ma'am, you have a book that you have to recommend. That's really good. It's great, amazing. Okay, let's talk about the PI round now. So as we all know, the IPMAT Indore. And yes, before I talk about the PI round, one more important thing, which I presume not a lot of people are aware about. And if not, then I would want to inform you. As I mentioned earlier, that the IPMAT Indore exam is conducted by IIM Indore for admissions into IIM Indore and Ranchi. So for Ranchi, how to get admissions in IIM Ranchi, I want to apprise you regarding the same. So for IIM Ranchi, once you've appeared for the IPMAT Indore exam, you will have to fill in a separate applications for the institute. Of course, they will be the cutoffs and the selection procedure will be based on your scores in the IPMAT Indore exam, but you will have to separately fill in the applications for that. So please make sure that you have already filled it. If not, then go and check if the application forms are still out, and only then will you be eligible for the admissions to Ranchi. Don't just think कि मैंने paper दे दिया, मैंने interview दे दिया, तो मेरा Ranchi में भी हो जाएगा. You separately have to fill in an application form for that. So please keep that in mind. It's a very important information. Okay, so let's talk about PIs now. PI, and I think I've also discussed this with you the last time when we were together, ma'am, is that I feel that a student at an undergraduate level who's coming right after his 12th standard, new to the world, and coming out of his cocoon or something like that, the philosophy. So I feel it's a very new experience for him to appear in a PI or to take a PI. So what are your tips for the PI route?
Just be motivated, be confident, don't be overconfident. Second will be always be grounded for information. Look out for all the information that is around you. Know about yourself. Who are you? What do you want from life? What are your strength and weak areas? Next, a very small exercises can be taken like SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats that can be done. Do some exercises on goal setting, because this helps you to understand what are actually you're looking for and what is the time limitation you have, what are the barrier, what are the hesitation you have, and how can you come across those, right? Next is getting in touch with the newspaper is something very important. Paap lagega agar nahi padhoge. That's how I should say, right? So it's also for the PI and also from the interview point of view, both the ways, because always remember, today a reader, tomorrow a leader, है ना? ये कोट याद रखना है when you are preparing. जब ऐसे सोच आए कि क्यों पढ़ना है भाई, है ना? आज रीडर हो, कल लीडर हो बनोगे. And रीडर से लीडर बनने के लिए, if you don't know that is what is going around in your country, in the world, then आप फंसोगे. क्योंकि आज के टाइम में, if I talk about my last two experiences of IIM Indore mocks and the actuals are that कि questions of strength weakness वाला नहीं करते हैं, no more. The questions are more on your GK. You are being drilled or rather grilled on your subjects, है ना? ऐसा कुछ नहीं कि इस subject मेरा अच्छा नहीं है पहले ही बोल दो कि sir I am not good with this subject. You can please ask from this. ऐसे choices भी नहीं आता है, right? So subjects, GK, and information about yourself, especially your state, who is the governor of your state. How many districts are there, right? Suppose a question can pop up also. I said last time also that why Punjab has been named as Punjab, why Mumbai has been named as Mumbai. All these are actual questions from IIM Indore. And the question can go in depth for your subject also. It can be like, they can tell you, okay, what is the formula? What is the formula of glucose? They can ask you, okay, what is Venn diagram? And they can even ask you who is the father of economics. So question can be any level from your subject also. So it is very important that you are taking preparation or you are already into that preparation mode. And especially written हो जाने के बाद एक दिन भी waste नहीं करना है. You have to manage and you have to revise whatever information you have. vocab and GK में यही problem होता है ना, हम पढ़ते हैं फिर हम भूल जाते हैं. तो याद दिलाने के लिए, याद रखने के लिए revision बहुत जरूरी है.
Absolutely. And IIM Indore, which is very popular for its PI round. They conduct very interesting PI round and they're very spontaneous about the questions. They might cross-question you on anything that you have said. Right? So you cannot even be over smart, pretending to be somebody that you're really not, or pretending to be interested in stuff, because they're really on the same topic, right? So I remember there was a student, I think he was on board with us for one of the BBKP sessions only. So he had mentioned about cricket in his hobbies. So they had asked him everything about cricket, beginning from the first World Cup to the last World Cup to I don't know what all. So it's very, very important also that you keep in mind what are you speaking. So be wise before you speak. That's also very, very important. Be very sure that you will be able to take up the cross questions on whatever topic that you're saying. So that's also very, very important. Okay, so this was about the intellectual part, ma'am. Now, as we know, first impression is the last impression. The first impression is how you look, how you act. So any tips on, let's say, posture, dressing, because even if it's an online exam, interview or a physical interview, it does not really matter, because now when virtually things are pretty, I mean, they can make out, right? So any tips for the posture and the physical appearance for the interview?
Absolutely. First and the foremost, please be honest. Maintain the proper eye contact with the camera. Don't look here and there. You can be blacklisted. Second, take care of body language. Don't use too much of hand gestures. I think rest you will be learning in your concept classes. There are so many pointers. मुझे मौका मिलता था start. So I should not start like that. And the third thing, which is very important, the greetings, right? The smile that you have to maintain throughout. Because see, one most important thing is content. अगर आपके पास content नहीं है, आप confident नहीं दिखोगे, you cannot come forward with conviction. Conviction, assertiveness, confidence, all this are directly proportional. So to be good in that, you have to work on the content. है ना, मेरा body language अच्छा है, and बार-बार I'm saying sorry sir, I'm not updated. Sorry sir, I don't know the question. That will not work out, right? Body language is important. First impression is important. Dressing etiquette is also important. Even the tie knot is important. हमें लगता है हमें सब कुछ पता है. But once you take help of Google, once you check YouTube, you will see there are ample of ways to knot your tie. What should be the length of the tie? What should be the color of the belt? What should be the color of the shoes? What should be the formal attire specifically for the women? Indian, Western, how to follow that? What kind of footwear should be preferable? What kind of hairstyle? So everything matters from tip to toe. I know. And whatever you're wearing, you should be knowledge about it. They can ask you, so ma'am, you're wearing a clip. Can you tell me what is the color of the clip? And you forget at that moment. So that will not also work out. So you have to know yourself thoroughly from everything, from every corner, I must say.
Okay, so I think let's do one thing, Tamoshi ma'am. Once the results are out for Indore, let's do a session on PIs only exclusively. Let's discuss it in depth, and I think it'll be more relevant. Absolutely. Because it'll be something that students might be looking forward to. So we can do that. Let's do an exclusive session just on PIs once the results are out for Indore, so that even the students have clarity whether they've been shortlisted or not, and then we can talk in depth about the same. Right. Okay. So, ma'am, we are almost towards the end of the session, and
but there is one pointer that we have not touched. What? That is stress factor.
I was just coming to that. But yeah, come on. So
yes. So first, Vagesha ma'am, today let's change the role. So my question to you: you have handled so many BKB and you have handled students also. You have also good knowledge right now with you. So tell me how you feel the student should handle the stress. Because when the students comes to know from a third person, that looks very much effective. हम लोग तो रोज बोलते रहते हैं. What's your tips?
Okay, see how I feel, and I think whatever things I say, I try to relate it with my own experience, because then I feel it comes out more realistically, and because it's usually like it's better said than done kind of a thing. So what I felt is a little bit of nervousness is good. I think that keeps you grounded. That does not let you get overconfident. But for the stress buster, I think towards the end, when there are only 1 or 2 days left, I think a student should not focus a lot on the exam, should take a break, should take a step back and relax. Might go for a walk, might go for, my stress buster is shopping. I go for shopping when I'm like really stressed. It makes me happy. So do things that make you happy, because happiness, I feel, is very, very important. Apart from that, if there's somebody who's spiritual, can get into meditation, but relax. So whatever works for you, right? Go on a walk if that is something that makes you happy. Play with your pet if that is something that makes you happy, but relax. Take a step back. Talk to your family. Talk to the people. I feel with the kind of modernization that we have stopped talking to people, especially in our own family. So that is something that can be done for the stress, for busting the stress, if I put it that way. Additionally, from you, ma'am.
Absolutely. So first and the foremost, if I have to wrap up with this point, I will wrap up. So a little bit vivid it will be. So first is I have to revise the key formulas. Next is I have to take care of the actuals. Third, this is a particular mode to rectify the mistakes. You should have the I for analysis. Again, I repeat the point, I for analysis. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं सिर्फ analysis कर रहा हूँ. It should be in depth. आपको वो scanner अपने eyes में बिठाना है for some time. Next is speed run through the syllabus, and that can be done with your quick revision. Next, believe in yourself, can perform under pressure. And to do that, you have to self-discipline. Self-discipline in the sense, 10 days left. How I'm going to schedule the day. ज़्यादा नहीं, but थोड़ा बहुत जितना भी मुझे करना है, I have to plan it in advance and I have to follow it religiously. ऐसा नहीं कि आज नहीं करना है, कल नहीं करना है. No more. You're not into that. Next, most important is easy to tough. That should be the mode of dealing with the questions. 3 section of questions are there. You're sure 50-50 and number of and you're not sure. तीन एरियाज को कैसे डील करना है पहले से आप स्ट्रैटेजी बनाइए. अब चलते हैं हम थॉट साइकिल पे. जब हम थॉट साइकिल का बात करते हैं फ्रॉम कॉम्पिटिटिव पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, इट्स अबाउट सेल्फ एफिकेसी. आई कीप ऑन सेइंग, आपके पास देयर इज अ हाफ एम्प्टी कप, so you will understand whether you can see the half empty cup or whether you can see half filled cup. ये आपके ऊपर है. So it's totally about your perception. It's totally about your belief in yourself, right? And for that, thoughts, emotion, behavior, all are interconnected. Believe me, मैं कोई नया चीज नहीं बता रही हूँ, and this is true. आप जो सोचोगे उसी पे आपका इमोशन बैलेंस रहेगा, इमोशनल बैलेंस रहेगा, आपका बिहेवियर भी वैसा रहेगा, एंड उसका आउटकम अच्छा होगा. जो मैम ने बताया कि एंजाइटी फैक्टर दैट किल्स, राइट? नाउ व्हेन वी मूव टू सेल्फ एफिकेसी, देखो आप 3-4 पड़ाव यू आर ऑलरेडी इन. फर्स्ट इज परफॉर्मेंस एक्सपीरियंस. अभी तक आपके पास एक्सपीरियंस है, आपने मॉक्स दिया है, सो पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस विद यू, सो बी कॉन्फिडेंट. नेक्स्ट इज विशेरियस एक्सपीरियंस. व्हाट इज विशेरियस? आपने ऑब्जर्व किया है लास्ट कुछ दिनों से 100% टाइलर सक्सेस स्टोरीज सुना है, पढ़ा है इंटरव्यूज, यू हैव चेक द पैटर्न, एनालिसिस चेक किया है, सो बिलीव इन योरसेल्फ. नेक्स्ट इज योर सोशल परसुएशन. सो व्हाट इज सोशल परसुएशन? You have taken coaching, you have taken feedback from your mentor. So now you're standing in two important or last step, that is imaginal experience. आप क्या visualize कर रहे हो for your future? I want to see myself there. Give that kind of thought process, that kind of positive mindset to your belief, to your dream. I'm sure it will help. And the last step, not the least, is physical and emotion. Balancing the sensation. है ना? देखो अगर और तोड़ के हम बताएं, it is 26% being more resilient, right? Hardworking. 21% innovative, क्योंकि आपको वहां पे सोचना है, वहां पे डिसीजन लेना है. ये सोच के मत जाइए कट ऑफ तो लास्ट ईयर का ये था, इस बार क्या होने वाला है. अगर आप लोग थोड़ा IIM रोहतक का आप लोगों ने चेक किया है तो इस बार पूरा गड़बड़ हो गया है ना? कट ऑफ बहुत बढ़ गया है, पेपर बहुत इजी आया था. सो नेवर गो विद कट ऑफ्स, दैट वी ऑलवेज से. एंड द लास्ट इज 14% मोर प्रोडक्टिविटी. कितना प्रोडक्टिविटी आप देते हो लास्ट मोमेंट, है ना? सो रेजिलियंस, इनोवेशन, प्रोडक्टिविटी, दिस आर द 3 थिंग्स जिसके बारे में आपको सोचना चाहिए एंड स्ट्रैटेजिकली चलना चाहिए. आई थिंक लास्ट मिनट दिस विल बिल्ड यू मोर कॉन्फिडेंट एंड यू कैन वर्क फॉर इट. एंड द लास्ट नॉट द लिस्ट, इफ यू आर अ फेलियर, डोंट वरी, because failure is not opposite to success, it is a part of success. The most important is you're going to stay, and you're going to stay relevant only when you take the proper step. That's how you can manage the stress management.
मैं ऐसे कभी नहीं समझा पाती मैम, इसीलिए मैंने आपसे पूछा था बताने के लिए. Because the experts are the experts, they know what to say, what not to say. So yeah, so I asked the right person the right question, I feel. All right, so I think that was pretty much it about the last mile to IPMAT Indore. Thank you so much for your very precious time, and we'll work together on the PI round, the session on PI round, and we'll come again for that. Right, so thank you so much for being here, and any parting words, ma'am?
All the best to all of you. You're going to stay relevant and मांगो जो हक से मांगना है from the universe, that yes, I'm going to do. This is the time that the confidence should be given. Yes, we can do it. With that note, all the best. Take care of your health. Take care of your mental health. Have lots of water, right? Don't get dehydrated. Tension nahi lena, just chill and enjoy life.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. And all you aspirants out there, all the very best for your upcoming IPMAT Indore exam. We would wish and hope that you rock it, and all of you make it to your desired B schools. Don't forget to fill in the forms for IIM Ranchi if you have not done it as yet. And we'll see you in yet another very interesting topic of a session of BBKP, Hitbullseye Pathshala. Have a great weekend and enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.